Hi, I'm Kathryn Dyer, and this is my husband.
Karl, Zoltan.
And you're listening to
Can't Tell You Everything podcast.
Today, we're going to meet up with the dynamic duo that is Jason Vong and Vivienne Lee.
Professional YouTubers that we met at Condo last year, a Sony event, and let's get going.
Alrighty.
Do it. So I'm glad you guys could make it. And then what I wanted to do is just quickly say why I wanted you guys. We had lunch at a Sony event in Oregon, and you guys, a lot of energy. Really good.
Gotta make sure to look at the camera.
All right, yeah, whatever. But no, you were real, and that's what attracted us to you. You're real. You got a lot of energy. We really like your work, and you have a lot of passion, and that's what we look for, and that's why I want you. And the other reason is Vivienne in LA. When we're at the Sony event in LA, I walked by. We were running around. You guys were busy, and I wanted to get together with you guys to catch up, see how you're doing. And then I walked by your class. I look at the class. I wave to you. You wave back. Hey, how you doing? And you got the whole class sitting in there. I'm going, what the hell? I go, that's okay. We're good. We'll get together later because you're so sweet. And we never got together because we were too busy. So we had to start a podcast so we can get you guys on the podcast so we can finally get together.
That's so true. Yeah, you guys, I saw you for like a second. And then I remember that you were there. And that happens all the time. I'm always like, oh, we should get together. And then I never see them anymore after
We're always running around. Everyone's just running around. There's always like so much to do. And, there's always a lot of people to catch up with. And it's just so hard. I kind of wish all these events that we do are like 2 weeks long. So we have like time with just everybody.
Yeah.
And that was the ideal world right there.
Yeah. And that was kind of Condo. It was a few days out. So that was nice.
And for people that don't know, some of these events are like the first day of high school. And you go to lunch and it's like getting your lunch at the cafeteria. And then you look around and there's like that table full. There's that table with like 2 seats, but you're intimidated. It can be like that. Now I'm very shy. And you guys were just like so open. We were able to sit with you and it's just like so friendly and kind. So I was like, you guys made a huge impression also on me because it's intimidating. It just is. And I was like, these guys look kind of cool, Karl. I don't know. But you guys were really, really down to earth and very kind.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I like reflect your sentiments there. Like, I think that was my first condo too. And then I was like, oh, like a lot of people know each other. They've seen each other at like past events. And I was also like, oh, like, who can I sit with? That looks really friendly. And I was like, oh, you guys look nice. So I was like, perfect.
Yeah. No, we know the feeling for sure.
Those are the people right there. They look nice. They smell nice. Let's just insert ourselves into the seat and just say,
I just like your hat.
Yeah, right on. The people that don't know you that may be listening, just tell us about yourselves and what you guys do.
Oh, I'm Jason.
I'm Vivienne.
And we run a YouTube channel called Jason Vong, my name. Hey, what's up? So our channel is kind of, it started off with a lot of Sony products, a lot of Sony gear. We kind of, I personally was trying to contribute back to the YouTube community. I myself is a product of like a student of YouTube photography, YouTube film. That's where I kind of learned all my skills. And I think back then, not a lot of people were putting out content on Sony cameras because Sony was just like hot and fresh. So Vivienne right here, she actually encouraged me to start putting content and kind of giving back to the community. So I've been doing a lot of reviews, tutorials on Sony Alpha. And over the years, we sort of turned it into a hybrid shooting channel where we focus on 2 topics, photo and video. And we're trying to bring a community together of hybrid shooters onto our channels. We're just, like how we're here today with your podcast, just kind of inspiring everybody and just making sure we have fun with the cameras that we use.
Yeah. Really,
and what are your roles? Like Vivienne, what are you?
Oh.
What are yours?
She's the brains.
Yeah. Well,
She's
obviously.
inner workings of everything. She's the Band-Aid to all the little holes on the ship, and she's got the
to the giant hole.
Yeah, she's got the buckets ready to put out the fire. So it's all true, by the way.
When we started, I was still like working a full-time job, and when we started it, we never expected it to kind of pick up to where it's now. And then probably about a year and a half ago, that's when I kind of full-time joined on board the channel. So I guess my official duties and roles and things like that are I manage everything that's needed to run a YouTube channel outside of actually shooting and filming content, really.
We like to joke that I like to talk on camera. She likes to talk off camera. So I think that's how we kind of keep the business going. So when I'm, yeah,
So
I think it really helps a lot.
a lot of like brand deals and talking to brands, talking to people to collaborate with, just keeping the channel running so that we have, a roof over our heads and that the channel is still able to give us, exactly what we want and what we can get out of it.
You're the magic behind the scene.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
That sounds a lot better than a Band-Aid for a hole on the shoe.
Yeah.
That's why you're the one that talks to the brands, Vivienne, right there.
Yeah. I just love doing emails. He's like, I don't even want to look at an email. Don't let me.
It's stressful. It's stressful. It is.
It is, Jason, and just say it like it is. It's okay.
It is.
It is a lot of work, and you guys are a great team, and it needs a yin yang. That's kind of helped me and Kathy here. We have our strengths and weaknesses, and even starting out this podcast, you do YouTube. That's a lot of work, plus photography, everything else. I didn't realize how much more work it is to do video.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a ton of work. You make it look so easy. You guys are great, and I appreciate watching your stuff much more now because I have a different perspective because we're trying it and we're going, holy crap, this is a lot of work.
And your personality comes through, Jason. Like, I want to be your friend. I watch your video and I'm like, okay, I want to hang more with this guy because, yeah, it's hard to put that much energy out there.
Well,
absolutely.
I like it when Vivienne's laying there giving the input or filming when he's in the shower. That's an important role.
Well, we should explain that. That was with the camera cover.
Wow, okay. What?
Oh, is that not the same thing?
Completely different from what we explained about our YouTube channel. We were testing out a little rain cover and, we couldn't go out because it's quarantine time right now. We can't go outside. There wasn't much rain going on in California. So at the time we were just like, okay, let's just fake some rain by going to the showers and testing out this camera rain cover and see if it keeps our cameras dry. So that was a little skit that we did.
I didn't expect for, I guess, the water to be as strong as it was, and then it splashed like everywhere, like on my feet. And then I was worried because it got on the camera, and I was like, ah.
Oh, good thing we have that rain cover.
Not mine. The camera I was holding didn't have
it's fine.
Yeah, it probably got wetter than the one in the water.
Yeah. It looked like it worked.
Weather sealing. We're fine.
Yeah, and I appreciate you clearing that up. I was like you, Jason. I didn't quite say the whole story correctly.
You just left it at that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
People are like, what?
A lot for the imagination.
They'd go straight to your channel, though,
Yeah, I try to hand it to you, but it's okay. All right. Appreciate that. Now, how did you guys meet? I mean, how did this dynamic duo get together from two different worlds, two different places?
Yeah. So we met through like mutual friends. So I was helping my friends out on like a short film that they were doing, and they knew Jason from like high school. They also like did films and stuff together.
We were in different parts of town, I think, and then we in college I guess we met a lot of mutual friends that then after college we sort of met together. But go ahead, your story.
So I was like helping them, like I was like producing. I love getting a title. I was like producing. I was helping put together this short film, and I remember it was like the morning, and we had to move like locations. So I was like carrying like clothes, and I was like carrying like food and stuff like that, trying to move it to the next location. And then I remember I was like coming down like the escalator, and then I saw Jason, and he was just sitting there. Like he was sitting there not doing anything. And then I was just like, hi, like, are you here to help on this film? And he's like, yeah, I'm here. And I was like, oh, okay, well then you can help me carry all this stuff, because I was like, I can't carry all of this. I gave him like the stuff, and I was like, cool, thanks, move it to the next room for me.
Okay, what she neglected to tell you was our mutual friend got me on to be an assistant camera. And unfortunately, that day was just a little bit slow. They didn't need me on set, so I was just chilling outside. And she mistook me as a production assistant. So I got all offended. I was like, oh, hey, hold on there. I ain't helping you carry anything. That's not my job.
Like, I didn't understand these like roles on set, because it was like my first one. I was just helping some friends out. And then he was just like, excuse me, like I'm assistant camera, like I'm not supposed to carry stuff. I was like, this ego.
So basically, it was love at first sight.
Wow.
Yeah, I get it.
And then I remember after you, like, I was like ordering lunch or dinner.
It was dinner.
And then I was ordering dinner. I was like ordering pizza. And then he kept coming up to me and he was just like, oh, make sure you order me like cheese sticks. I was like, what? I was like ordering pizza for everyone. And he's like, no, like I really want cheese sticks. Like, put it in order for me. And then I did. See, look at that. I was so nice. Even though he was being a diva.
Yeah, I guess
precursor.
she mistook it as me charming her. So then, the day after, she slid into my DMs, and that's where the magic happened. Went on our first taco date.
Wow. You can't go wrong with tacos. That's a great start.
It's a nice date.
A lot of junk food involved in our relationship. Pizza, tacos.
We used to love that till we went vegan.
Mm.
But when you get older, you got to do these things. You got to make adjustments as you go. Jason, when we're watching you, you're talking about being an introvert in one of your episodes, and you don't look like an introvert to me. And then Vivienne, you don't look like an introvert either. But I want to hear about both of you. If you are an introvert, not an introvert, how did you overcome it to be on doing classes in public, doing your YouTube?
That's a very interesting question. Like, I think a lot of people think I'm extroverted, but I don't know. Vivienne does. I don't know. Why don't you try to explain this?
Try to explain you?
Yeah.
You want me to explain you? And you can try to explain me. Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, Jason is introverted, but then he is able to extrovert on camera really well, and I think that's something that
I guess when I'm being put on the spot, when I know I have to do something, I'm just like, all right, I gotta suck it up. Just gotta go for it. I get really nervous before like live shows, my own live shows, especially the one you made a comment about me being an introvert, especially all the live presentations that we have to do. I'm just like freaking out, like days and nights before. I'm just
I guess what a lot of people don't see is all the behind the scenes stuff that happens. So that's why I know for a fact like Jason is an introvert, because I think when you're on camera, you are able to extrovert, and I think you're very comfortable on camera, because that took a while to get to.
It's because when it comes to shooting YouTube videos at home, right? Like you can do 50 takes. You can like mess up. You can just like, whatever. I'll just do another take. I'll just do another take. And when it comes to real life, you're just like, oh God, like you only have like one shot, So being able to be comfortable at home and just be able to like express myself just makes it a whole lot easier. But when you're meeting me in real life, I think you definitely can see like I'm very like shy and timid. So
that's what some people have brought up. They're like, oh, like you're more quiet, like in real life than like on
it's
camera.
just more so I'm not like comfortable yet. It definitely takes me a while. That's why in the beginning we said I talk in front of the camera while she talks off camera. So that's why we feel like this business and this relationship works really well in that regards.
And there are like days after like you shoot or even do it live, you're like, I need to like decompress.
Oh, yes.
I need to like stop for an hour. He's like, leave me alone.
There's a cool down period. Like after like even just hanging out with friends, I'm just like, maybe I need to stop seeing people.
Yeah, he'll like regress for a couple days, and same with like
need to recharge. They call it social recharging. Is that what it is? Yeah. And then I know a lot of people are kind of affected by this during the quarantine moment, and we're just kind of going crazy. I'm just like, no, this is great. Like I can just be a hermit for 2 weeks and not have to talk to anyone else. This is fun. And then after a while, of course, I'm just like, okay, I really need to have some people contact me. So let's bust out some lives, let's crank out some videos. So
it works.
I have my ups and downs.
I'm definitely a lot more
rather ebbs and flow. Go ahead.
I'm an extrovert.
Mm-hmm. You're such an extrovert.
I am such a super extrovert, but I think it balances well because, but it's like, it's a learning period, because you are more introverted. So it took me a while to be like, oh, like, I'm like, how come you don't want to talk? Like, how come you don't want to go out? Like, let's go from one hangout to the next. And you're like, no. And I'm like, okay.
I'm like, I can't fathom hanging out with someone for like 12 hours straight. And you're just like, I'm ready to hang out with someone else. I'm ready to hang out with the next group of friends. Yeah. But that's great.
But that's what's causing me to feel very like I need to extrovert. I need to like talk to people. And I mean, it works. Other days I'm like, oh, I just want to be quiet for a little bit. But then after a day, I'm like, okay, I need to talk to someone.
Not even a day.
And I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you. You're like, leave me alone.
Oh, no.
That's great.
That's us. I'm the introvert. And Karl's the very extroverted, hyper, Yeah.
I love that.
COVID-19 is driving me
It
crazy.
is, right? It's driving me
Yes.
nuts.
Dude, I'm going around the house here and there, and yeah.
Are you calling up people? I'm like calling people all the time.
Oh, yes.
The amount of phone calls that came in is ridiculous.
I'm on like group FaceTime calls. I'm just like, talk to me,
Her
play games
cousins
with
are
me.
calling her, her aunt's calling her, her grandma's calling her. I'm just like, oh man, I can't deal with this.
Vivienne, me and you, buddy. And you. I even started doing a journal, so I have something to do. I never did a journal in my life.
Oh, that's a smart way.
Yeah. And anyway, so
He does it for about 2 seconds because then his attention span, and he's like, then he starts calling people, Vivienne. And he's like, let me call people. I'll hear him talking, think he's talking to me, and he's on the phone again.
God. It's a gift, right, Vivienne? And then Vivienne, I'll tell you, when you get older, doesn't change. Still the same. Yeah.
It's good to warn Jason too. Yeah, Jason, it doesn't change.
She's never going to slow down.
He'll get more introverted. I'll just be like,
I feel like I'm already getting more introverted. I'm just like Hermit. I was like, I need to go out, make some sort of physical contact, social contact.
With the presentations, do you find it gets easier the more you do them?
Yes and no. Yes and no, I would say. I think like for me, presentations, they don't come too often. So then I guess I kind of like regress and just like, oh God, I'm like freaking out. But after like the first run through and because usually when it comes to presentation, I have to do it multiple times, in like a 3-day span. So after the first one, usually things do get easier. But when after months of just like not doing it and then having to do it again, I'm like freaking out.
Yeah, and when you do your train, do you change your deck or your topic or the way you do it each different event, or do you just keep it basically what it is?
It just depends on the topics that the organizers want us to kind of present. But I would say like the style, I think we've always get better at finding ways to engage with the audience. Because I remember my first presentation, I had an hour on the floor and then I was done in 15 minutes. And I was like, any questions? Oh, brutal. But after that, sometimes we would have Vivienne on stage. Sometimes I'm still up there alone. But we figure out some ways to just like kind of get the audience to react and just kind of like be part of the conversation and just have some fun. So we always try to go back and kind of think like, well, what can we do? At what point of this presentation can we do to get some audience involved? So I think that's when having some feedback and have some excitement from the crowd makes the presentation so much easier.
No, I agree with you. Start having a relationship with them and then it's easier and it just flows better. Also talked about how travel inspired you. And I could see why Vivienne would need to get away. I saw the one where you wanted to go to, I don't know where you went to, China, Hong Kong,
No,
Japan.
you were going to be going to Japan, but Vivienne was like, I need to travel before that. And Jason's like, we're going in 2 weeks or something, right?
Oh yeah, we were going to go to Japan in like April, but then it was like beginning of last year, and we were in this we were like trying to be super spontaneous, and then we were like, we already had a Japan trip planned for spring, and I think prior to prepping for that, we were like, what are we waiting for? Let's just do something spontaneous. And then that time, like February, we just booked a trip to Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think like right after this was like at least 6 months, right? It was 6 months at least that you quit your full-time job to join in the crusade. Yeah. Right? And we were just always like, oh yeah, we're gonna go travel more. We're gonna do more. And then we were just kind of stuck waiting on some of the travels that were planned, and we were kind of just like itching, like ready to go. We're just like, well, we always said we would travel more. Like, what should we do? And I was just like, F it, let's just book something. Let's just go to Hong Kong, like we've always said. And we're just sitting in the car. We went home. We booked a trip after that, and we were out in the house in 2 weeks.
We were gone fast, yeah. But it was because like we were like, let's just go somewhere. And I went to like cheap flights or something, and I was like, what's cheap right now? And then Hong Kong was like on the list, like first one on the list. So we're like, okay, well, we've always said we wanted to go to Hong Kong, so I guess it was like meant to be. And it was around like Chinese New Year time too, so we're just like, well, let's just go.
Yeah, and I think the travel really did a number on us because, one of the things that really pushed us to be that spontaneous is just like, well, when it comes to doing content on the YouTube channel, it's like, well, I do a lot of photos, but a lot of photo and videos, but the areas that we're in is kind of getting stale. We kind of want some new scenery, some new vibes, and getting that little spark of inspiration going on. Having that travel, going to Hong Kong, somewhere foreign, somewhere different, a little bit familiar because we are Chinese. Just just a little bit familiar, and just being able to explore and just be like, wow, this is so different. We're getting such unique look in the background of our videos. We're getting unique style looking photos. So we really enjoy that trip, and we got really addicted to just wanting to travel more. So being spontaneous like that was probably the highlight of our 2019.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was tiring, I think, after we finished all our trips, we were going to stay put for a little bit, but I think it was worth it. We got so many good photos there.
I feel like we jinxed it. I think we jinxed 2020 for us. Or just like 2019, we were in Hong Kong, Japan, and then we were like,
we went to Japan again.
Yeah, we went to Japan again. We went domestic in the United States a few times around. We're just like, man, we're tired of this. I don't want to travel as much anymore.
And now we can't even travel. So we jinxed
so
it.
sad.
Well, it's bigger than us.
Travel definitely inspires me because I'm all about like the different cultures, and I also really like going to countries where it's not so much also car centric. Is that like, because we live in LA, and for us to really go anywhere, we kind of have to drive out. Everything's kind of far, and I always use that as an excuse, like, oh, I'm so lazy, I have to like go and drive like an hour out or something. And being in a place where I didn't have that option, like I have to take public transportation, like I have to be with the people and like hustle and bustle and move, that really like made me like, oh, okay, I have to go see all of it. And also because we're there for a limited time, every day I'm like, okay,
we're on the go.
We gotta shoot here, gotta do this, and then it makes us like move our butts more. Whereas we live in LA our whole lives, so we're like, oh yeah, the trails are always gonna be there, like the mountains are always gonna be there,
and
like,
we never go. We've never even been to the Hollywood sign. We live here for like the rest of our whole life.
We've never been.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we hear you.
But that's true. That's true. You take for granted what's around you. The only time I finally started, well, that's when we started photography, but I started exploring what was around us was during cancer treatment, because I couldn't go that far, So it's like we found a tree 5 miles from our house, and that was just like our spot. We went as far as we could, and I'd shoot just from the window of the car if I couldn't walk that day, But things like that they teach you. And like your video, Jason, the last one you did where you had all those different products from Amazon and you tested them at your house, that's when Vivienne was filming you in the shower. I thought that was just really a great way to give back right now, because for people that are at home, that's something that I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, what can I just still be creative but shoot with that I already have in my house, maybe, or around here. And I love that you did that and you tried out new things. That mirror for your camera,
I love it.
That flip up mirror, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
I want to get that.
Yeah. I was surprised because, when it comes to vlogging, at least with the full frame setup with the Sonys right now, they don't have a flip up screen. And some people like to vlog with a flip up screen or a flip out screen. And, we're all waiting, but this is like a really, really nice, affordable solution. Just $20 to snap the mirror on your screen. You can kind of see what you're doing. You can see if you're in frame or not, which is super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that video below on the podcast so people can go and see it, because I thought it was really cool. And then they can see you in the shower too.
Whoa. Yes.
Yeah, but you wrecked it. They know what's
I
happening
wrecked
now.
it.
Oh, they did for their own
that
good.
was you.
Yeah. Well,
that's okay.
That's all right. I want to go back to travel a little bit. Traveling, you guys travel a lot. You go all over the place, and traveling can be fun and it could be a pain.
Oh yeah.
We had a 24-hour layover in Chicago going to Spain.
Ooh.
And it was tough.
No, it wasn't a layover. It was a delay.
Well,
our plane was broken.
Oh.
And they had us sit there for like, I don't know what, 8 hours. We were supposed to meet Sony in Spain, and we were the only ones that flew through Chicago. So we're waiting there. I think it's about
5 o'clock till 11:30 before they said, "Oh, we're not going to get the part. We're leaving tomorrow at 5."
They said there's only one plane, so we have to order the part, and then it's going to come, and we're going to repair the plane, and then you can get on it. I'm not that crazy about flying, and I'm thinking like, I don't know, that doesn't sound real reliable.
That's right. They
You're
need a
gonna
part.
just have the mechanic order it and fix it right there. Why can't you get us a new plane? And like Karl said, they never give us a voucher for food. They never give us food.
No.
It was terrible.
They finally brought water bottles at one point.
Yeah. But we were concerned about the elderly ladies who they were traveling alone. And at the end of all of this, at 11:30, said, "Oh, we're going to get you a hotel room. You're going to go." Can you imagine 160 people pissed off from sitting there for 6 hours? They all left these little ladies in their wheelchairs. So we got them. We helped
The staff
push them
was
down.
gone.
Everybody left.
Yeah.
Everybody left. So we pushed them down, and then there's the little buses that pick you up to bring you to the hotel.
No. First, before the bus, we had to all go wait in lines for our hotel vouchers. So like 100 and some people. So we had these ladies, and a girl from Italy, she took the third lady, and Karl and I each took one of the wheelchairs, and we waited in line for the vouchers.
And they spoke Spanish. One was from Cuba, one translated for us.
She was the one from Cuba.
Yeah. So
one
anyway.
From Cuba spoke Spanish and English. So she translated for the other two because they only spoke Spanish.
Oh, it was a team effort.
The girl from Italy could kind of speak Spanish, so she helped with her
did pretty
person.
good. Yeah, she was better than me.
We got the vouchers finally, and then we're trying to get on these the shuttles to the hotel.
Ooh,
and so
I
told them I'll wait with the wheelchairs. I'm going to go check and see how many seats, because they didn't say disabled people go first. They didn't do any, it was just a mad rush for the shuttles.
There's nobody there to organize
I'm
it.
trying to go see what's the handicap situation. How can we get them on the bus? So I go get on the little bus. The pilots are on there. I don't know why I had my suitcase with me. I didn't leave it, following the rules. So I took, I'm getting on there, and there were 2 seats at the back, and I'm thinking, well, maybe 2 of them can get on. So I go to check. This lady goes, these are taken. You can't have these seats. I'm saying, what? It's fine. And then the pilots tried standing up and giving me their seats, said, let's go. And they're shutting the door. And I need off that bus because everybody's outside. So I'm trying to get off. And the woman, I guess, who they're saving the seat for, is rushing by. And I said, excuse me, because I have my suitcase. It's a little aisle. I said, can you back off so I can get off the bus? No, she shoulder checked me. I fell over, cut my elbow on the wall of the bus, fell on the people in the front seats. I look up, it's a little girl and her dad. The little girl looks at me and starts crying. So at this point, I didn't even know I was cut, but at this point, I start crying because I feel so bad about the whole situation, and this girl's crying, and I'm thinking, and I'm exhausted, and I'm trying to push up off her and not hurt her, to get up. It's kind of awkward. And I finally get up, get my suitcase, get off. That lady had rushed by me, and I'm thinking, like, I wanted to yell at her, but I didn't, And then we just waited finally for the last bus.
Yeah, we finally made it and got through
it. Yeah.
And the reason I brought this up is you guys travel a lot. And this is just an example how it can go to hell in a handbasket. I want to hear some travel stories when it's not going good, you're wore out, delayed. Give me your stories. Everyone's got a story.
Well, did you tell yours? Okay.
Okay. Well, I think. Okay. So this has happened in two different trips to Japan. I think the first time around, you lost $200.
Oh yeah.
And you got really upset.
I wrote that out of my mind. So I was really sad.
You got really upset, and because the reason is, I think you stuffed the $200 in your passport, and we think it dropped out at some point when you put out your passport. So you try to go back, you try to retrace your step, you try to go back to the department stores, and we don't speak any Japanese, right? And sometimes we would be met with employees there that don't speak any English. So we're just trying our best to communicate with them. We're like, we lost $200. And they're like, no, we don't see anything. So one of the things is definitely, I guess, the theme here is language barrier. And I think the struggles when it comes to traveling with you is like you're kind of telling me that you kind of, when we're out traveling too long in a foreign country, you kind of miss speaking with people. This all goes back to your extrovertedness.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
This goes back to your extrovertedness, because you're like, oh, it'd be nice to, have this chit chat with the cash register, the person behind the cash register, like, hey, how you doing? How's your day? Like, she misses that. I'm like, I don't do small talk. So if they leave me alone while I walk around the store, that's like the most fantastic shopping experience for me.
But then I
really
later
enjoyed
that like in Japan, like that's in their culture to like, it's like small talk is not in their culture either. Like they're like the people that work at the stores and everything are very just like, if you don't need anything, they won't really like come up to you and be like, how are you doing or anything. They just kind of leave you be. And if you need them, then you go talk to them.
They'll say hi, they'll greet you.
They're
And
nice.
when you leave, they'll greet you and they'll bow and everything. But for the most part, it's really hands off. So if you need anything, they'll definitely assist you. That's the shopping experience that I like. Obviously, it's a little bit different for you.
Well, but like like that is what keeps me from trying to like making like the connections I want to make, like that you made, with the little ladies and her family and stuff like that. Like I want to be able to be like, oh hi, like tell me more about yourself or something. Because I do meet people that are really nice and they want to talk, and then I always feel really bad. I'm just like, I don't speak any Japanese. I'm so sorry.
For the ones that I guess some of the more positive experience with that when it comes to that is that when they try to communicate with you. So I remember now all these stories are coming back to my brain. We were at a yakitori restaurant, which is like skewer places. So you get like chicken heart, chicken butt, stick. All these like
the gross, like
the
you
chicken
get,
heart.
You get like regular chicken pieces. You get like chicken thigh, chicken breast, like chicken
I name
wings.
all the stuff that I don't eat.
He names everything he doesn't eat.
But there was this one time, this is the great thing about Vivienne is that she's very adventurous, right? So we went to this part of town where it's not very, I don't want to say not tourist friendly, but not really a place for tourists. It's for locals, Obviously tourists are still welcome. But none of the signs were in English. There was no menus in English. So we were struggling. I was just like having the worst time of my life. I was like, why are we even here? We can't even read any of the English. read any of the Japanese. But then there was this really nice Japanese man sitting next to Vivienne, obviously saw us struggling, and he offered to help. Yeah, he's like, with his very limited English, was just trying to explain to us what each of the dishes were and helped us order. And then she was conversing with him with, the limited English that he has. And I think she really enjoyed that experience. I think that's one of the experiences that, we kind of really enjoy, just being able to connect with the locals, we just like having friendly interactions at these sort of destinations.
I think this always happens when we're eating.
Serendipity is what.
But then later he asked us where we lived, and I wasn't really sure what was up with that. But he was really nice. But then
I don't think he was asking where we live. Maybe where we were staying.
Oh, okay. Okay, because
now you're making him sound creepy. I don't remember him being creepy.
No,
we just painted him to look creepy.
He was
okay,
really
hang
nice.
on.
But he was like this young business guy.
He was super nice.
Yeah, he was really nice. But then later he was just like, where are you staying? And I was just like, I'm not used to someone asking me where I'm staying.
What do you mean? A lot of people ask where we stay, but we just tell them like, at this train stop.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay.
I think you're remembering the story.
But you guys,
you
left us hanging. Did you get the $200 back?
No.
That was
yeah, it's okay. It was a lesson learned.
Usually when you lose something in Japan, you can find it, lost and found is usually pretty good. But for that one particular instance, that $200, which is, we don't know what happened to it.
It's okay. I have a story. I have a really funny one. So there was one time, like maybe a couple years ago, and there was like this trend, like I guess in like Japan, I guess definitely like in Asia, like trends are really big in terms of like clothes and stuff. So there was a trend one year where camel coats, so camel colored like long coats for like women were like really popular, and almost every single girl that I like saw in Japan, like that was like my age, all owned one, and everyone had the coat. And there was one time we were getting off a train, and then I ended up buying one of the coats while I was in Japan too, because I was like, oh, it looks nice, I'm gonna wear it. So I was wearing that jacket one day, and then I was like, we were walking out of the train, and then it was like really busy, there was a lot of people, and then I turned around, and then I didn't know where Jason was. I was just like, oh no, where did he go?
I was on my phone when I was walking out of the train. I assumed Vivienne was next to me, so I put my arm around this Japanese girl walking off the train. I was just, acting lost. And then she started scurrying away, and I was like, why is Vivienne running away from me? And I looked up, she ran up to her boyfriend, and they both just ran off. Yeah, they were just scared.
They were scared?
They were scared. I was like, oh, shoot.
Well, what about that one other time you also grabbed like a little grandma's hand?
No, that was you.
That was me?
Don't put it
on yeah, another time we were coming on the train, and I was trying to grab Jason's hand, and it was also really busy, and then I grabbed the little old grandma's hand, and then I was just like, oh, was like, I'm so sorry. But she was really nice about it. She was like, oh, it's okay. And I was like, I'm sorry. So, like, random.
Oh my God, that's great.
Aw.
Now we have like a
Probably be
joke.
arrested someday.
Now we have a joke now. We go anywhere, and when Jason comes on, like, put his shoulder, he'll like look at me. He'll be like, are you my girlfriend? And I'm just like, I guess. Like, I guess I am.
Oh, I
That's
love it.
hilarious.
That's good stuff
That
right
is
there.
hilarious.
Excellent. All right, let's change the pace a little bit and go in a photography depression area.
Okay.
Kathy we heard you talk about it, and then Kathy has gone through this, and it hit us pretty good because that's exactly what she went through.
Oh.
We did photography for healing for cancer. That's how we got into photography, and it was.
Well, wait.
There we
So
go.
let me say this. You go to a class before chemo, and I've mentioned this before, but there's a class. There was only one other guy there besides me that was going to have chemo. And I mean, and then Karl, that was it. And it's basically like they do a PowerPoint. I was real curious, like, what are they going to teach me? You know, we know it's chemo. It was kind of like, don't hurt yourself because you're more prone to infection. Wash your hands a lot. I mean, a lot of it,
Like for now.
you know, prep me for, oh, but the point I was going to make is the thing that stuck with me that they said was, whatever you do, do not eat your favorite foods because you will never want to eat them again.
Oh.
Right? And I hadn't thought of that. And I was like, well, I guess that makes sense. Like when you get food poisoning really bad on something, you know, for a while you might be like, I'm not touching whatever that was because I don't want to get sick. So I think the whole thing of it is like, if you're really sick as you're going through chemo, they're thinking like, you're not going to want that food again because it's going to remind you.
Yeah.
I almost feel like that's what happened for me with photography.
Mm-hmm.
Photography was my out. It was my way to make my own world, make my own beauty, to use the lens to create like a magical world that wasn't existing for me right then in my life. And I mean, I had support, like I had the best case scenario, but you're sick. Your body's worn down. It's doctors after doctors and very clinical. So, you know, Karl bought us a camera and we shared one at first. And he was like, let's learn how to use this camera. And it was really smart of him because that's what got me out of the house. It was, and I had no other focus at that time. I wasn't working and it,
Yeah. And we didn't have jobs then. We didn't have any pressures. We didn't have any assignments or anything else. And it was fun.
we had a little bit of pressure. I mean,
Well,
I had surgery and I had to, you know.
We used that as a healing
I didn't
tool,
want to
but
die.
the photography,
You know,
little things.
Um,
But after that, it started to pick up and everything took off. And then the funds started leaving. The depression started coming in due to photography, due to social media. And when you talked about it, it hit home. And then did you guys go through that yourself?
I think so. I think that's why I definitely made the video. I mean, when I made the video, I was going through all sorts of stuff, you know. It's, I guess, I'm just trying to remember where was the place that I was coming from when I made that video. I think it was definitely just burnout. It was it was a period of burnout for me. It was just like you know, obviously, you know, things are definitely going good. You know, you know, we were getting a lot of like brand sponsorships, and you know, those are really nice. And then at some point, I kind of just like lost sight of, you know, why we started the YouTube channel. You know, I started not having as much fun, which really took a toll on me.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just taking on a lot of stuff. And we obviously recalibrated. We're just like, okay, we're gonna start taking things, you know, that we think is gonna be fun for us. You know, I think ultimately that's why the channel really succeeded, is because we had a lot of fun making the content that we made in the beginning. And I really want to go back to that. So that's sort of like the short story of things. But also, I was trying to draw a lot from the experience that I had going through some of those, you know, photography depressions. And I think a lot of people can relate. You know, obviously the pressure of social media and just being overburdened by the amount of gear that we have that's, you know, kind of hinders us. Like, yes, the awesome, cool, amazing tool that we just bought that's several $1,000s is it's gonna make our stuff amazing, but when you're so caught up with life at times, like you're just like, well, I don't have time to actually do it. And you feel a lot, you know, kind of feel guilty about it. You're like, well, I bought this expensive piece of equipment, but I'm not taking it out. So I just kind of like want to relate all of that experience with people and just kind of be like, hey, it's okay. You know, it's definitely okay. Here are some ways to kind of, yeah, it's just kind of helping people just kind of let them know, hey, it's okay. You know, everyone kind of goes through this sort of photography depression. It's just finding ways to kind of recalibrate and start again. And just, you know, it's okay to put down the camera once in a while and then just restart it when you have time.
And you talked about being a perfectionist. You said like, you know, sometimes you have to put stuff out there, even if it's not perfect to you.
All the time.
And I heard that and I was just like, oh, I needed to hear that. You know, that was valuable because I go through that. And then the funniest thing is then you post something that's like been on the kind of like, no. And then you post it and you get more interaction on it and you think like, you know, so yeah, I felt what you were saying there because I'm a perfectionist and I will look at something over and over and over. And we're so hypercritical of ourselves that then the joy comes out of it, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's definitely it. I mean, it's just trying to find that balance. I guess being a perfectionist is not bad at times because then that kind of makes you strive to make the content as best as it can be. But there are certain things that, you know, you just kind of have to let go. Like I think very, very late into the game, I would say, when it comes to making videos on YouTube, that I just got really lax with how the production is. I think Vivienne definitely were the one who really felt it at the end, you know, like we would be out shooting and I'd be like, no, this is not good enough. No, I don't like this take. No, I don't like this shot. I don't like this background. You know, it's really draining. And this goes back to when we were first dating and she was still working her full-time job. And we were out filming somewhere and she only had 2 weeks of vacation and she's just trying to enjoy it. Whereas I'm just trying to get content while I'm out there. And I felt really bad because we were stuck in this one spot for almost 2 hours. No, not even 2 hours, maybe just like an hour. But it was closing time for the little spot that we were in. And I just felt so bad taking it away from her because I just couldn't get my take. So a lot of that, you know, we kind of went through that for quite some time. I think like almost a year. And then finally, I'm just like, you know, I should just honestly let it go. Even if it's not perfect, you know, YouTube is not meant to be perfect. It's not meant to be a high production, highly produced sort of platform. You know, there's a sense of authenticity when it comes to having your content raw and not overproduced.
But it's funny because I think that's when you started to let that go was when we found that like the videos that are the even photos that we put out that weren't as like we didn't spend like all this time trying to like perfect it. It ended up doing really well. And every time we publish one of those, you'll come back and you'll just be like, oh, my video did a lot better than I expected.
All the time.
And I'm just like, well, it's because I think you're letting yourself shine a lot more through it. And I think like being more authentic on that and being more spontaneous, I think let both of like personalities shine. And yeah, that trip that we went on that one time with it was pretty brutal. I think there was like we almost missed trains and it was like raining. And we did this one take. I remember specifically you were trying to jump in front of the camera and you were like running and jumping for like 30 minutes.
It just took the joy away from, you know, obviously traveling. And when you only have 2 weeks of vacation, you don't want to be spending an hour on one spot for your boyfriend jumping over rocks or something.
We were building something at the time, so it's fine. But I think you hear it. Like you went back later and you were like listening to the footage and, you know, it records audio. And you could hear like the frustration in like my voice and his voice. And we're like, oh, like you shouldn't ruin like the things that are for us for like perfectionism.
And, you know, funny that you guys brought up the accessories video where I went to go take a shower with the cameras. That drove me up the wall. I was just like, this is not perfect. I hate it. You know, obviously we're stuck in quarantine. There's not much I can really do. Otherwise, I would really take the equipment out and just go have fun with it. But I'm stuck. I'm confined in my little office space here. But I can't really do anything about it. So I was just like, no, people are not going to like this. It's complete garbage. And
no, People liked it.
Yeah, people liked it. I was like, yeah, that's more views than I anticipated. So
It's because a lot of people are in this situation too, where they are stuck and they want to do something fun or watch someone do something fun, and you're bringing that. So I think that helps them too.
yeah, and it gave me a lot of confidence back. You know, the fact that I hear you guys enjoy it and the fans out there enjoy. I'm just like, all right, well, I mean, I shouldn't be so hard on myself and try to make everything perfect. It's just rolling with the punches and just making the content as best as I can with the available resources that I have.
That's what led to like your burnout. I think a lot of that,
That
how
what?
you're feeling, like a lot of like looking for perfectionism,
Yeah.
the drive, like, and then like that led to like that burnout. It was all leading up, like it was all building up, led to that point. And I think we were able to like better reset after that. And I think from then on, like we aren't as focused on like the numbers. We're just focused on having fun, doing things for ourselves. And I mean, I lost sight of that too. When I started on, I was like, oh, we're trying to build a business. We have to like expand. We have to like get more deals. We have to work with more companies. We need to like keep growing and growing and growing. But we didn't really have like what's our goal or anything. It was just like more for the sake of more. And I think that's what really builds up to everything. And now we're just like, well, we'll do something if we like it, and we don't, then we don't.
A lot of trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
And it's always good to be you. You don't have the unexpected pressure, and people like who you are if you let it show. And Kathy's a perfectionist also, but sometimes it gets in the way of who you are. You're trying to create something and make it perfect, and life isn't perfect. We're not perfect. And I'm hoping people likes to see the flaws, because I got lots of them.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? And then you have less stress on yourself too. And no, that was a good conversation. And that's good. You guys went through that, and it'll help you in the long run, and less stress as you go. You can handle it better, and you've been there. And that led into my next question. I don't even know if we have to cover it, but struggle that impacted you, and how did it change your creative way you are? Do you have any specific struggles you went through growing up or before you got into this, or just that process you talked about?
Just making that mistake. I think, I mean, even just recently now, it's just best to not overthink things and just go for it. I think that's something that I'm still struggling with, and I'm trying to just really strive to make it my motto. It's just like, stop overthinking this and just do it, and let the outcome kind of dictate the next direction, rather than just think and not execute. I think it's just,
That's a good one.
it's a better method, a better approach when it comes to creating content and being creative.
I think one struggle that I think both of us kind of went through was just kind of shedding a lot of kind of like what we grew up to like want to do. So I would say like, our like upbringing and like things that we were expected to do were very different than what we're doing now. And I think that shaped a lot of, I think
that's you. That's you. This is what I wanted to do.
What do you want to do? But I think you were able to shed that earlier on. Like I think like since you were younger, you were doing it, and then I think I'm sure your parents were kind of.
Well, yeah, no, my parents are definitely like, what is going on? But I've always wanted to make videos for a living, and I'm doing that now. So that has never changed.
But I admired that But what I admired of Jason a lot was that he wasn't scared of doing it. Like you were doing it. Like you.
Oh, I was scared.
Yeah, but you knew like even though like your parents didn't really approve, and you might have been different than like what your other friends were doing. Like you were just like, this is what I wanted
all
to
my
do.
friends at the time were smart cookies.
They still are smart cookies.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. They're doctors, they're lawyers, pharmacists. It is me right now, just dancing in front of the camera.
We have like our own success in like a different way, but I think like you were already doing it. I admired you, and then that's why, when I like quit my job, that was really hard for me, because I was like, I felt like I was doing something like super taboo and against like what my parents wanted, and like all of this stuff that was like going on in my head. But I was like so inspired by you. I was just like, well, Jason had this dream, and he always like went for it since as long as I've known him, and even before that. And that's like leading up to what we have now. And I was like, well, like there should be a point where I'm like, okay, like I should be able to like shed what I think is like the norm and what like I should be doing, or like what, you know, like the milestones you think you have to hit when you're like a certain age, or like what kind of job you have, like all of this, like I would to like shed all of that and just like slowly be able to like live the life that I want to without comparing or like looking around me and being like, oh, all these people are doing this, or like, you know, like parents are always coming, they'll always be like, oh, like you should go back to school. Like there's a lot of things that like I think I myself like struggled with a lot, and it was like learning how to shed all of that and just being like, no, like we are building something that's for us. It might be different because, you know, it's very different than what like our parents would have ever thought to do, because it's, you know, it's a different sphere.
Right.
So it's like kind of showing them to like we're able to build something, and I think that's what like motivated us a lot.
What's one piece of advice that you wish you had going into all this?
I would say, well, one, I've already kind of given it during this podcast. It's just to not overthink it and just do it. I think that's something that I've always done my entire life, is just to overthink things, never executing an idea. And that's definitely hurt a lot of opportunities on my end, because I see a lot of ideas that I had very similar, but got executed by someone else. And I'm just like, dang it, I should have done that. You know, like, like
Oh, yeah.
It always happens. You know, obviously people don't believe you're like, yeah, like you have that. Yeah. But of course, you know, like it's just never waiting on something and just do it. I think that's something that's very, yes, powerful and definitely highly recommended. Yeah, I would say that's the piece of advice that I would probably give my younger self.
I think mine would be it is trying to figure out how to combat and silence like a lot of those inner thoughts. I think since I've always been younger, I think I always let what I thought people expected of me kind of change my decisions and influence like what I did. And I think either learning to silence that or having the conversations needed to have to kind of figure out like, is that really what are people thinking, or is it just all in your head? And I think if I had a lot of those conversations a while ago, that would have shaped my life a lot differently than how it is now. You know, so I think that's a big one. It's just really learning to have those conversations with yourself, and even with the people that you think are thinking that, just to kind of clear it up, just to see if it's, you know, so you don't get all caught up in your head. That's me all the time. I was like, oh.
Absolutely.
No, that's good. And that's good advice, and it'll help with the stress levels as you go on.
I hope so.
You know, when you're in your head, no, it's stressful. You know, you have all these expectations you put on yourself. And then when you talk to your mom and dad, they're saying, what? We didn't have that. And you're going, I stressed for nothing all that time.
Yeah.
But you know, that's awesome. Communication is key. And that's a good thing with Kathy and me. We talk about everything all the time, and communication is key.
Yeah.
I talk all the time.
Well,
I'm the introvert, but in our house, I'm the one who's talking all the time.
Oh, really? Karl just talk to other people.
I think I can relate to that. It's like when we have ideas, we just go off on it.
Yeah.
We're just like, you know.
I have to be like, okay, you have a lot of ideas you're talking about. I'm not going to stop you. This is very rare. I was like, just keep it coming.
Rolls her eyes like, oh God, here's another some random idea again.
That's good. And speaking of you guys are good. You're just leading into everything. You guys have accomplished a lot. And how long have you been doing your video, the YouTube channel?
I've been doing this YouTube channel, almost 4 years. I mean, I've been trying to do YouTube for almost 10 years now. It's just that the fact that this channel finally took off for me. So very happy about that.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you guys have accomplished a lot. What are you looking to accomplish in the future? What are your goals for the future?
That's definitely always, I would say, changing. But I think the overall goal of this year, depending on how things go, I think towards the end of last year, I was telling Vivienne, I was like, you know, it'd be nice if every single person who holds a Sony camera to know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like we go traveling, and I see people using Sony cameras. You know, I would say, you know, from time to time, there will be people who will come up to us and be like, oh my God, I watch your stuff. Awesome. But then there are still quite a bit of people out there who don't really know who I am, whether that be because they're, you know, an international audience. I was just like, we're gonna go global. We're gonna get all our videos subtitled in every single different language, and we're gonna put it out there. We're gonna go for world domination here. But yeah, I mean, that's a fun little goal that we have.
It's a fun goal. I think ultimately, I think for us, our big goal is creating a community and like you know, creating
Yeah.
community and saying that we have been able to help and like inspire people. I think that's our big
There's always,
overarching goal.
I mean, it kind of goes back to that world domination thing I was going, you know.
Saying inspiration, you're saying world domination.
It's the fact that people come up to us and they tell us, they're like, dude, we love your videos because of you we shot this photo, we shot this video. You know, I like to think I'm more of a technical expert than an artist, because I feel like I can really help a lot of people out by just really showing them how to unlock their potential with the gear that they use, right? I feel like I have that kind of relationship with Vivienne right now. She's very been the artistic type, but she doesn't know how to execute it on camera. So obviously I'm coming in with some technical advice, and once she gets it, she executes the camera shots and it comes out amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's sort of like I guess the dynamics of my business partner too, who shoots weddings with me.
Oh yeah.
Like Eric,
He's very artistic.
he has the eyes for the shots, right? I'm just looking for symmetry. I'm just looking for moments. I'm more of a documentary kind of guy, but he's like more of a cinematic, you know, vision. And sometimes he's just like, well, how do I get to this certain part of my camera to do the shot I want to do? And I'm like, no problem. Go to tab 2, page 8, turn this one feature on, you're good to go. It's like, all right, sweet. You know? So I think
that's a really great way of putting it. That's a really great way to put it. You want to be the technical backbone to someone's artistic vision.
Yeah, I think you put it
best. There you go.
That's good. And that's what I am to Kathy. She's the vision.
Well, I mean, I learned during cancer. So, you know, I only had so much space for taking stuff in. There was so much going on. And I just wanted to do it. I was just like, I have, you know, who knows how much time. I don't know my staging. I don't know what's going on with anything in my life right now. I just want to create beautiful stuff. I don't care what the rules are. I don't know the rules. I'm not going to study. I'm not going to look at anything. I don't know if I have time. I'm literally just like hitting the ground running. Okay, I'm going to put my camera half like the lens in the dirt and see how that photo looks. I'm going to, you know, I just wanted to try new stuff.
But that is what led to like how beautiful your art is. You know, I think that really speaks.
Thank you, Vivienne.
Yeah. Like I think a lot of people should do that. Just do it. Just try.
And I love your page, Vivienne. I like the white tones. I love crisp.
She just saturates everything and drives me up the walls.
Well, no. But you look at her page, the whole page goes together. There's a consistent style there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's unique.
I love it. I just like to make fun of her because then, like,
very different styles.
I'm like vibrant, color, grass, green, yes. And then she's just like, nope, toning down the greens, toning down the reds.
Yeah.
Raise that contrast up with the blacks. I'm like, oh no. But yeah, I think.
Thank you. He likes my vision.
I do. I do.
I think if I ever had a technical review by someone technical like you, Jason, it wouldn't be real good. I do the best I can, but I know that a lot of the shots could be more technically executed.
I think, yeah, I mean, that is true, you know, however ways you look at it. But I think at the end of the day, it's the results that matter. I mean, people, the internet's funny. Like if they see me shoot at an awkward shutter speed or whatever, I get like,
you get flack.
Yeah, I get flack.
Wow.
Right? But then it's like, well, if I don't post the settings, you would never have known, you know, what's going on. You would have just focused on the result itself. So
I feel like the general public and like people like me or the average person, like we don't care about that. Ultimately, we want the beautiful image and we want to see how that makes us feel. And I don't really
it's
care
good to be technical, but it's never good to be too technical about it. So I'm always a fan of just like, look, if it gives you the results, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you get there.
I agree with all that. And then
so there's going to be a part 2 to your trying random stuff in your house challenge.
I'm trying. I already placed an order for the Amazon stuff, but with the whole essentials only going out first,
be a while.
It might be a while, so we'll see.
Yeah, I went on Amazon and I saw something really weird stuff. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, Jason's shooting another.
All right. Well,
I like that.
We appreciate you guys taking your time and talking with us. It was great. I feel good now that we got to catch up after seeing you in LA. So we're all caught up for now. We will meet again.
Absolutely.
at the virtual Cando. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, that's in August. Maybe we'll make it.
I don't know.
Crossing fingers.
It was great to talk to you guys. And where can everybody find you online?
YouTube.com/Jason Vong. If you got a Sony camera or you just need some photography or videography inspiration, come on down to the YouTube channel. Again, it's youtube.com/Jason Vong, spelled Bong, V as in Victor. And I like to say my little handy catchphrase: you can't go wrong with Jason Vong.
Ooh.
Ooh, I like it.
What about your Instagram?
Jason's Instagram is Instagram at Jason V Media, and then mine is at Hello Vivienne, and my name is spelled weird. It's like Vivienne, but yeah,
It's not weird.
No,
It's
it
not
is.
weird.
it's
Sophisticated.
different. It's French.
Ooh, wee wee.
I
Ooh
know.
la la,
Ooh la
Vivienne.
la. Hey, that's our entry music. Entry music.
Yes,
Ooh la
it
la.
is. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Ooh la la. All right. Thank you guys so much. We
And
really
we'll put the
appreciate
link.
Thanks for having us. See you guys soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
it. Bye. Thank you.